And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, hello there, General Kenobi.
General Kenobi?
General Kenobi.
If only.
If only. So, what's up, Justin? How are you?
My cholesterol's a little high.
Yeah, trying to keep it sane and real, right?
No.
Not at all.
It's 2021. It's time to live it up and watch Disney movies.
Right? Disney's on a good track right now. Anyway, so it looks like Krista was here first. What's up, Krista? How you doing?
Krista!
And Katrina's here, like always. What's up, Katrina? How you doing tonight?
All right, I'm back.
Katrina's up here already promoting us. Let's go.
All right, welcome you guys. As you can see, because I'm still recovering from my accident, Batman is not showing his face. I give you an update because some people got confused. The videos that I did upload on my channel, they were videos before the accident. So
Alex, was it Bane, Joker, or the Riddler? Who got to you?
I think
it was Clayface.
Condiment King.
Every time.
Condiment King. Kite Man?
Calendar Man. Yeah.
Calendar Man. Yeah. Polka dot. No, correction. Polka dot.
Whoa. Back to Disney. Back to Disney.
All right, but it's good to be back. It's good to see your guys'. See your guys' face. You'll see
everyone's lighting up the haze.
Hello, Katrina, my love. I see Krista's here. Thank you guys for being here. Before we start, like always, don't forget to hit that like button. We'll really appreciate it. How about all of our channels? I don't know if your channel's still it's connected yet. I'm still the update and all that stuff. But gotcha. But yeah, let us talk about this movie. I went to go see it last week from when I was recovering. Hey, Carla, how's it going? Yes, thank you. I missed you guys too. I missed this. I missed live streaming. I kind of stayed away from YouTube because the theme parks were making me sad because I can't go to the theme parks. Live streams were making me sad because I couldn't do live streams. So I kind of just ghosted off of social media, off of YouTube. But
been there, done that.
Yeah,
it happens. But
won't go there, won't go that. So I won't ever know what that feels like.
Yeah. So like I said, baby steps. Because like right now I'm not 100% there because my face isn't shown, but I still have my, I guess, talented voice. So
you're reminding me of like Portal. Or some robot speaking,
controlling everything from the background, right? Or at least trying to.
I am afraid I can't do that, Dave.
That's Odyssey 2021.
Yeah, it's good to talk and laugh, you guys. But okay, things are gonna be a little rugged because I'm looking at. Do we have any? No, we don't. Okay. Do we do non-spoiler review on this?
Yeah, let's start off with
let's do like a little non-spoiler. Yeah,
don't spoil the movie because if you're here, it's Cruella. You know that these people decided at Disney when they were thinking about what movies they could do. They're like, let's make a movie about a puppy murderer or an attempted puppy murderer. And let's make it an origin story. And I mean, that's essentially what this movie is. And if y'all want to go first with y'all's thoughts, y'all can go ahead. Because I'm going to think a little bit before I speak.
You want to go first, Justin? Or Lucas? You gotta think about it.
I mean, it's not really like who goes first, who what. I mean, we're just spitballing on the movie itself. If I want to say the first thing I want to say about this movie is like it's the Harley Quinn movie I didn't know that I needed. Like it's not because of me being a DC fanboy and like making it a comparison to that, but I take a look at it as it was Disney trying to put like a madness flair on something, and they took liberties from other properties that already did this exact thing. Harley Quinn, there's a character named Jinx in the game League of Legends who's also very reminiscent of what's going on in Cruella. It's bright, At some points, it's vibrant at some points, but then at other points, it's dark. But it's not like gritty, but it's dark. There's some. It's very stylized. It's a very stylized live action movie, and I don't think Disney's done many stylized live action movies before. So that's where it definitely stood out to me at that point. But I mean, that's just my take on it. It's just a fun ride.
Yeah. Let me start off with this. Emma Stone did a phenomenal job. I was blown away from beginning to end. When she was Estella, she played great. And then as you see her kind of going down that dark road and kind of being a little crazy, I can't say about who she was kind of being similar to, but amazing. The facial expressions she made, amazing. The acting, amazing. Just the scenes, she nailed it. She did a really, really good job. And so I'm starting right there that she is the reason why I really, really love the movie. Besides her, I guess the other actors too. So just great acting, overall great acting. But Emma Stone just at the top was like, if she does not win an Oscar for best, I guess, what is it, best actor, best actress, I will be upset and disappointed.
I think the only thing, well, there's other things I can talk about this movie that's definitely I'm going to bring into discussion later. But there's only one nominee I think this movie deserves, and we'll discuss it later.
Okay.
But I don't think as an acting performance, I don't think she blew anything out of the water. She was good. It was a good movie, but it wasn't like an Oscar-worthy performance from anybody in this movie.
You don't think she? Well, I mean, that's my opinion.
Not
hey,
Oscar,
Christina,
not an Oscar-worthy performance. No, this wasn't an Oscar baity movie. This was just like a fun Disney movie.
Well, yeah. So getting into me, like going into this, I refused. Like the only reason I watched this is because of my crew up here who were like, "Hey, we're gonna talk about it." I was like, "Well, I'm gonna have to give it a look." So I didn't watch any trailers. Of course I love Emma Stone, but I thought the idea of, it felt like Disney was really scrounging for, something to make content with and just couldn't think of anything. So I was really just not in the mood to watch this at all. But I did, thanks to Lucas. And I gotta say, I'm very pleased that I watched this. It turns out they did have a story to tell, and it wasn't just a desperation move. This movie gives you everything you would want out of a fashion-based movie. You want to talk about amazing, stunning wardrobe over and over again, consistently throughout the movie, from hairstyles to the outfits. And also the locales, the different sets that they used. If you have access to a 4K TV, or if you're saving up money, instead of going to the theme parks, you get an OLED TV. Those colors with the Dolby Vision active on Disney Plus are so vibrant. The lights inside these London style, these Victorian style interiors, the little lanterns, the lamps, the little mood lighting always pop. Just the marble all over the walls and floor. It's just one of the most. If you talk about elegance, this movie has it in spades. So regardless of the plot, which is hit or miss, we'll talk about that later when we get into the for my non-spoiler part. I'll just say it was unimpressive. It was very basic and simple. It didn't give me anything that hasn't already been done before as far as plot goes, and they made a lot of choices that didn't feel right for me.
Agreed. I agree.
Right.
Well, that same.
So, but that being said, and it also doesn't feel like a prequel to 101 Dalmatians. It doesn't feel like this movie ends.
I mean, that's what,
and that one could continue based on how it ends. But
that's another thing I could talk about.
We don't know
later in the podcast,
right? And we'll get to that. But it's just, as far as a movie goes, especially if you have access to watching it in a really great format, watch this movie.
Yeah,
it's good. It's not just a desperate attempt for Disney to make content. It's actually a very well made movie, although not nearly the best, but still worth a watch.
Yeah,
100%, and I agree to that.
100%. Yeah, just bring what Justin brought up about the clothing, just the fashion was amazing. The dresses, I mean, I was really blown away with a lot of the designs, and it fit that time era too. You know, it wasn't like
70s.
Yeah, it was a very good period piece.
Yeah,
I will say that they did a really good job at making you feel like you were in the time period.
Yeah,
it didn't seem like. I know I always can relate something to like DC, but like take Gotham for instance. Gotham's supposed to be like a place at a time where you never know exactly where you're at. Either you're in modern day time, but some of the vehicles look older. This place definitely looked like it was in the 70s. Felt like the 70s. Felt like you were dealing with everything in the 70s.
In the 70s, there were classic cars from the 40s and 50s.
Which would make sense because it's 70s.
Yeah, 70s.
Between the 40s and 70s, it's only that was only like 20 or 30 years.
Yeah, 20 years, yeah.
Whereas now to like people getting cars now when they're like 16, they're seeing cars from the 90s and they're like, oh god, classic cars, and we're just like, well, I was born in the 90s, that hurts, you know. But
yeah yeah, exactly. So they did a good job with the time period, and like I said, everything kind of fit in that, from the fashion to just everything. And like, I mean, I guess we'll get more into the story, but I did enjoy the story. I'll get into more on certain things that I would have loved to see in the story. But I did enjoy it. The route that they took with the story. I like the tone in the movies, but being a DC fan, I come from like just the dark, you know, overtone on film, and so makes it a little bit more realistic, makes it more.
That was actually my grievance. Was like you literally took one of the characters that was known to kill things and have no remorse for it, and you didn't make it as dark as darker. And she made her more of an anti-hero at this point. Like right now, she's not a villain.
Spoilers, but
sorry, guys. So if you're watching the video now, I think we can go into spoiler territory. Yeah. Corella's been out for almost a little bit more than 2-3 weeks now. Like it's been long enough.
The $30 yet to watch on Disney Plus.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen the movie,
it was in theaters too. So I mean, you could have gone and seen it in theaters as well. It's been out for a couple weeks now. I think we can go into spoiler territory pretty quick.
All right, let's do it.
All right, let's go into it.
You were saying about her being an anti-hero.
She is more of an anti-hero in this reimagining than she was in like the actual telling of the story that Disney was doing. So she's not evil. She's just misguided, more or less. I feel like she doesn't really like want to do the things she's doing, but she was told that she was this thing when she was born, basically, because spoiler alert, she was born with black and white hair.
Yeah, that
wasn't a fashion statement.
That was the most that literally made me angry. And it is kind of where the beginning of this movie, like I said, I came in not wanting to like this, and it took a bit for me to start engaging with it because everything with her as a younger kid, and especially how she was born with half black and white hair makes zero sense.
Makes zero sense.
And like Lucas was even, initially when we had that hype level up, he's always biased like right at the beginning of things before he has time to digest it. He was really defending it. We're like, hey, that it happens where people get born with discolorations, but no, this is symmetrical.
It was. So the thing I compared it to, Justin, if I remember correctly, was okay. So you know how some cats are born with multicolored faces?
Yeah, that's exactly.
And it's split right down the middle. Exactly. So I was like, okay, they were just saying she's a cat.
Yeah, whatever. Symbolism
cat versus dog. So exactly. So when I saw it, I'm like, okay, so cat versus dog. Mm-hmm. So she's going to be a puppy killer. So that's what I was like, okay, so maybe that's what they were doing. She's one of those like rare breeds of cats that were born that way. Okay, I can kind of see where you're going with that. But no, as the movie further unfolds, she's not a villain. She's not a villain. There is a villain, and she's very villainous in what she does, the Baroness. And
Thomas.
Yeah, she's very good at being a villain, a very well constructed villain by Disney. I applaud y'all for that. That was a good job. But Cruella's not a villain, at least in this story, she isn't. And that was
But I mean, here's the thing. Well, first, let me ask everyone in the chat, leave a comment and let me know how you feel about the hair thing. Like, because here's the thing. I was okay with her being born with that hairstyle. Because right now in a movie, in that particular movie, it didn't have to sit there. Me seeing that, I wasn't upset and was like, that don't make sense, or that shouldn't have happened. I kind of was just kind of like, okay, well, she's the odd child that was rejected because of the hair. It could happen, kids are born with different things. I mean, maybe not hair, but there's just,
you could have made it, if you're a better writer, and my honest opinion, you could have made anything else. It
would have made more sense
her being born with two different things of hair, because that diminishes from her interest in style.
Exactly. Because when she's older and she's in 101 Dalmatians, being like the head of a fashion company and like basically probably in her like 50s, she has a fashion statement by her hair being split. So of course she would think like she would have it dyed black and white. An interesting choice, I think, would have been, if you want to make her diverse, is have two different colored eyes, because that is a stigma that happens in real life. Like if you have one black eye, one white eye, okay, that'd be a cool little change to like what you want to do, but still keep it grounded.
But here's the thing. Does she really have to make a fashion statement with her hair? Because I feel like it's supposed to be on her fashion of her clothing choices.
No, hair
and clothing go together in wardrobe because
here's the thing. When people start doing different color hair, sometimes it's a fashion statement, but for most time people are just kind of like,
see, Katrina, I don't understand. I don't understand now.
Yeah.
Like I tried to understand it when I saw it, but as I'm remembering the movie, granted it was 2 weeks ago, I haven't watched it again, guys. This isn't the super freshest movie, but I still remember the main points of the movie, and I still don't understand why her hair was born that way.
Right. Well, I mean, Alex, you're trying to.
I'm taking it as a birth.
You liked it.
Yeah, I'm taking it as a birth effect.
I took it as birth effect too, but like there could have been
like your point, Lucas. You're saying that as the movie goes further into the story, she's not a villain, but you got to think about it. This kind of goes back to, this is going to be a little DC, but anyone who's seen the Joker, people were upset because they were saying he's not the Joker. I'm like, you guys got to understand, he's starting
no.
He's just building
You're
up.
You're conflating two way different things.
Well, with Cruella, Cruella, I'm saying she's not supposed to be the villain yet. She's not supposed to. No. I'm not expecting her to be the villain.
That's not a complaint that I have, but what I have, the complaint I have is specifically about her hair, and that being her driving force behind everything just makes it's so weird, and it just feels out of place. It feels very fantasy for something that is one of the most supposedly grounded in reality Disney movies we've gotten in a while. So it's just we could keep talking about the hair. We can keep talking about her being
the movie itself. Yeah, I would rather go into like the character herself, not the decision choice on her hair.
Well, I was gonna say too, because we were talking about the beginning, how I didn't like the story beat from her, and it took me a little bit, to get into the movie. But what really did it for me, and we haven't really talked about too much, some of the music choices, or all of the I guess I should say all of the music choices. There are so many that I'm not even recalling, because, like Lucas said, we watched this 2 or 3 weeks ago. It's not, but I do remember a lot of Rolling Stones. They even used Black Sabbath in a Disney movie.
A lot of 70s music. It was all 70s music, if I'm not mistaken. There wasn't anything out of time, right?
No, there was some older music.
Well, there was nothing modern, modern songs in it until
nothing modern, but wasn't there like older Feeling Good, like
that's what I'm saying. It's everything that you would have heard in that timeline.
Exactly.
Like, nothing beyond 70 whatever the time period was.
Yeah, if it's
right.
Music choices were great. I agree. That was one of the highlights of it for me.
Yeah, I mean, the music choices in the different scenes were great picks too. I mean, it set the tone of different scenes, and it was really good. It wasn't
if anything, like if you're not enjoying like I said at the beginning of it, just think of it in the same way that they tried and failed with Suicide Squad to make it a movie that was just a music video.
And this one was excelled
more
as that.
successful as that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The music should have matched that time, and I agree. And it did match that time. That's what we're saying. Yeah. So, yeah, it was overall a really good movie. The thing I liked about it even more. Sorry, I'm getting all brain farty. Jasper and Horace were a standout for me. I really love those two characters. I liked how they showed them before they became disgruntled old men, basically. Like Jasper being a little D-bag to Horace all the time. And I liked how well they casted them too, as by looks. Like Jasper, when you saw his side profile, the guy who played him actually has like an elongated face, not like a horse face, but like a longer face for like a normal human being. And Horace was just like, portly looking like man. So it made sense. Like physicality, they looked like the characters they were trying to be, and they kind of sounded like them too, which was really cool. I like that little tension.
Sounded like them.
Yeah, they sounded close to them. I rewatched a scene with Jasper and Horace just to see, because I remember we talked about it. Cartoon.
Okay.
I remember maybe they talked about it. We talked about it before, Justin. I remember at the house. So I went and I watched like a little clip of Jasper and Horace talking, and Jasper sounds like a younger version of Jasper, and Horace sounds like a younger version of Horace. It was very good.
You think so, Alex?
Well, here's the thing. This is what I do like about the movie, but it's different from the animation, is that Jasper and Horace are not a bunch of like imbeciles. They're kind of smart. Yeah. They're a little intelligent with the way they devise plans on whether they're robbing or whatever they have to do, with their schemes. So I kind of like that. Jasper's a little bit more intelligent than Horace, but I like that they both weren't like just a bunch of idiots being told by.
He's way more intelligent.
What's the motive?
What's
the motive?
Yeah, way more intelligent.
What's the angle?
What's the angle? They both are not idiots like in the animation, because like in the animation they were just kind of like like yeah, exactly. Where in this movie they had much better. So I liked them in this movie better than the animation, but they definitely weren't similar or exact matches from the animation, so I'm okay with that. That's another thing that made me enjoy the movie more.
They were kind of buddy copy.
Yeah, almost. They even had like feelings, emotions, because they're like, hey, you don't have to talk to us like that, when they got little butt.
Yeah, and that right there is why like this whole movie doesn't feel like a prequel, because if you watch 101 Dalmatians, cartoon or live action, the two characters, Horace and Jasper, introduced in this, they almost leave Cruella Estella, because they're not liking the treatment that they're getting. Whereas if you think of 101 Dalmatians being in the future, either that suggests that they would have eventually just had to settle for being treated that way, because that's how they're treated the entire time. And these characters are not about to put up with it, and it's not. And I'm not complaining that it's not a prequel, because it is telling a different story, and I like it. It's putting a new spin on things. But yeah, like Horace and Jasper, not this. They have they're like homages to the ones we know in 101 Dalmatians, but they are not the same characters.
Yeah, they're not the same.
No way they would end up in those places.
Yeah, and then Katrina brought up a good point here, saying they explain all the backstory of the characters really good.
Well, it's and to me again. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, they just did a good job of like just kind of bringing them all together, how they met, and then how they just like everything just was like, you weren't so focused, or you weren't looking at it like, okay, stop showing all three of them. Can you just focus on Cruella, or can you just focus on the Baroness or whatever? It was just nice to see like they'd all just flowed together really well. And the other point that she said too, they had a different different diversity in people. Oh, I was trying to pull it up.
Yeah, the gay shop guy. I mean, so great way. We know who you're talking about. That's a very funny way to label him. But it's what's disgusting about that is like on Fox News, and there was like they were outraged by his inclusion, and they were saying, "Oh well, I can't believe they're trying to sell homosexuality to children now, and it's all this stuff, and it's like, oh my god, everything's controversial.
And that guy in the shop was, was great in the movie.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have a
Talk
problem.
about wardrobe.
Yeah, and his story with Cruella, or like it was great. Like she would go to him, get some like ideas, and they're just creating these outfits, and then she's showing up at all these different what are they called, these events with crazy venues, and it's just I liked him in the movie. So
yeah, he was cool.
Yeah, but, there's that
So sorry, I was about to say the things I don't like, or were you going to keep going? Yeah, because
No, the other thing I was going to say was the thing with these movies, and people pick like the homosexual or just anything. They just it's just that generation of people where they're just trying to find every little thing. Hey, Kristen Scott, how you guys doing? Thank you.
Trying to stay relevant when they're just not.
And it's like it's okay for Hollywood to go that route, with that, the gay guy in the shop, which I wish we had his name so we don't just say what was his name? Artie?
That's what I was saying.
Artie, right?
I feel bad just calling him a gay shop.
So Artie, like
Artie. Yeah, because he was art.
Yeah, he was
Artie's art. That's right.
Artie, him and Cruella making these, like, it was great. So, but yeah, you just have those people that are just trying to find every little thing in a movie, especially things like that. And it's like, no, you guys, they weren't forcing anything in the movie. It's just, it fits. Because in the fashion scene, you'll see a lot of people like that, especially gentlemen that are going to be, they're the ones that are going to, are creating the designs of dresses. And so it fits, it's like, I don't know.
So,
but anyways,
I do disagree with.
I'm addressing this to Katrina real quick, because so Disney has always been relevant to what is going on in modern day culture. So when Disney was first creating his cartoons and his stories, there was a lot of war propaganda. There was a lot of like cowboys. There was a lot of etc. like stuff that was relevant to what the people were experiencing at that point. And throughout the years, all his movies and Disney's movies have been very relevant to what is going on. Granted, some of his older stuff has been seen as racist now, but that was what Americans viewed other people as. And now, since we've got more of a knowledge about how the world works and better understanding of everybody, everything has been elevated. So nowadays, Disney's very,
because to me, Disney was all about not inclusion. It took forever. Like literally, there is really no. If you think about content, there's not a lot of inclusion. It's mostly white. Most of the princesses, white people. Most of the
Mulan, Moana, Pocahontas.
Yeah, which of them came out after
Jasmine?
Which of them came out before 1990?
A lot of the original fairy tales are all European.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're white European.
But they're European. The fairy tales that Americans grew up with are European. So
Disney can't even have like in the new Star Wars movie, they have a lesbian kiss in the background, and it's a very quick thing, and it's like it just doesn't feel.
They put that. I don't like how they just threw that in there with no connection to what's going on.
It doesn't. I don't think Disney. I think Disney's trying to play both sides, and it just makes me upset.
I don't think Disney's trying to play both sides. I think Disney just stays relevant.
I think they should be a little more relevant.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw. I don't want things thrown in our face just for the sake of being thrown in the face.
Yeah, like
if it makes inclusion to the story, like they didn't explain the man's sexual orientation inside of Cruella, but our perception of things makes us think that he is, right?
Yeah, and we haven't.
So that makes sense
as a fleshed out story and anything else.
Exactly, but just the fact that it's just he was there. He was there. It was great that he introduced somebody who he was acting like, I can't go out in public like this, because in the 70s he would have probably been like outed and like made fun of and like tormented and bullied in the street, right? Because of the time period. So he made sense to how he was acting and what he was like. I think they're doing what they need to do nowadays.
And we all lived for Artie. Christina. I feel like Disney's playing catch up, and they've done certain things. Like Lucas was talking about Jasmine, but that movie is while it has Jasmine, the original Aladdin is kind of insensitive towards Arabic folk. So
yeah.
I mean, it was a comedy at the same time, so it wasn't. I don't know how extensive it would be. I don't think any. Okay, it is what it is. We're not gonna. I don't want to get into that in just a movie conversation.
All I'll say is I hope Disney keeps going in the same trajectory. But
let's go to that list. Or you didn't say a list, but you said there's some things you dislike, Lucas.
Exactly.
Let's talk about that.
I don't like how they made her nice. Because I got another topic basically I want to discuss about this movie, because there's a lot of live action reimaginings and I want to kind of compare it to the other ones that we've seen. But so the only other villain movie we've gotten is Maleficent, right? And they definitely did not make her exactly. Those movies don't exist to me. They ruined a truly evil character by making her the anti-hero. And by more a hero than an anti-hero at that point. She just did one bad thing in those two movies, and then she was basically Aurora's godmother, not the other, or fairy godmother, not the other three, right? So what I was hoping from the trailer, when they showed us the trailer, looked like it was going to be more of a villain movie, like more have that villain feeling. And that's what I was wanting. I was like, okay, so me as a fan of the Disney villain pantheon, I want to see a villainous character get a spotlight in their own movie. That's what I want. And I didn't get that. I still haven't got that. I have another anti-hero. This one is more of an anti-hero than a hero, but she's still an anti-hero, not like the villainous. Like even at the end of the movie where like she sends the puppies out to Anita and what's his name?
Roger.
Yeah, sorry, brain fart again. Like she sends them puppies. Like, is that because she's like me in my head? I'm like, okay, is she gonna turn down the villainous route and be like a Rumpelstiltskin? Well, like I give you dogs, you give me puppies. Is that what she's about to do? From that telling of the movie up until that point, that's not what they're telling. They're telling us that she just gave them puppies because they helped her out, or dogs because they helped her out.
But okay, here, let me ask you this: okay? You wanted her to be more of a villain in this movie. So, one, what could they have done in this movie to make her the villain? And two, does she really need to be the villain in this particular movie when you need to have a backstory of how she?
I would have wanted to see the fall of Cruella into the madness that they showed us in 101 Dalmatians. They dabbled back and forth with it, but she redeemed herself. Like there's no redemption for a villain. Like at that point, there shouldn't be a redemption arc. There should be like the downfall into what you were in your like.
I don't think that's the villain of a movie is. I think
it's not. It's not. That's what I'm saying.
Redoing of it's just a new story. It's not even like I said. The way this ends, it doesn't make logical. Like they would have to have their writers on wonder drugs to be able to figure out how to take go from the end of this where we end up to the way that 101 story, the classic story we all know unfolded.
Well,
that is not this Cruella. There's a lot of work that needs to be done to get all of the characters to that point. So I don't even think this is like I said, it is a redoing of a character and turning her into a protagonist instead of an antagonist. I wouldn't call her a hero.
Well, and here's what I'm going to say, and I kind of want to hold on, because I kind of want to answer this question too with Christina in a second. But the way they went with this movie, I'm okay with her not being the villain, because in this movie, like I said, the Baroness, she was kind of the villain in this movie, and you had this. I mean, the route that they took was kind of like she learned from her, and now she's out of the picture. Now I feel like in the second movie, which there's probably going to be a second movie, kind of like I think Kristen made a comment down here, she'll go crazy. But I think that's where you're going to see her become the villain we know.
Why would it take us to have a second movie to see like a villainous character? I don't think she's gonna. If they have a second movie, I think it's gonna go the same route as Maleficent, and we're not gonna get a villainous movie because Disney's not gonna take that. They're all about like the hero of the story.
They're not gonna if y'all want to put money on it, we can. But like this, Emma Stone is not gonna be a villainous Cruella. That's done.
Disney's not going to promote that as a character. Like they're not, unfortunately. I wish they would, but they won't.
I mean, True. I mean, I don't know. I guess
there
we
might
won't
be a
see.
second movie, but it's not gonna.
I guess we'll see if they make a second movie. That's what I'm thinking, is that they're going to,
That's what I want to. That's Chris. That's what Chris has got. That's what I thought too, watching in this movie. But as Justin said, I'm very hype at the first viewing of a movie. I'm all about the hype. I'm all about the hype, nonstop about the hype. And it takes me some time to digest something and come up with a better, like, calculated opinion. And the setup of the puppies at the ending is not what the movie is doing. Like, the movie does not set up her to have puppies into a coat at the end. Her whole setup is her, like, taking care of everything around her in a whimsical, like like twirling, like, mustache mad villain way, but like at the same time she's being nice about it too.
Well, remember,
like, that's not Cruella.
Well, remember that scene where she was at the table and she was with Jasper, and Jasper was kind of looking at her because she was kind of saying that she was gonna kill the puppies or make like an outfit. And he was like, "You're kidding, right?" So I feel like that little scene right there was just kind of, that's what I'm saying. Like, at the end, when she did give the puppies, is to get, or the dogs to get puppies. And I think if there was a second one, that is where you're going to see her go crazy and her wanting, you know, the fur of the puppies to make the outfit, because she kind of was thinking about it, but it wasn't until one of the one of the Dalmatians was like looking at her and rolled over on its side to kind of, so she kind of was just like, I guess you're growing on me a little bit. But I think she was going down that dark road. She was like, maybe I could, do a fashion statement with their dots. So that planted the seed. So I feel like that could carry over to the second movie.
In our head, knowing that, because we know what the other movie is, like the 101 Dalmatians. We know that movie in our head, right? Now, if I watch Cruella and I never watched 101 Dalmatians at all, that whole convey would not happen. Like, I would not understand that.
She formed an attachment with her dogs and liked Dalmatians so much that she freaking gave Anita and John Doe, whatever the heck the guy's name is,
Roger.
Dalmatians. She formed attachments to these dogs. Like I said, what would have to happen? Like, if you're a writer writing a sequel to this, like Alex is saying, she's gonna go crazy. I don't see that happening. What are you gonna do? Have the dog eat her child? Like, she just has a child and the dog. Like, what could possibly make her
snap?
Because, I don't want to see that movie. Do you really want to see that? Like,
in the animated movie, but I mean, we'll see if Disney goes down this route. But in the animated movie, she was telling, was asking him like, hey, like, when the puppies are born, let me know. And so if they kind of stick with that story, maybe they might change it up a little bit. But like, that's what might make her go crazy, where she's like, oh, like, did the puppies come or something? Or maybe she got into the puppies and they're like, no, or they're just kind of like keeping the dogs away from her, and she did grow an attachment, and then maybe that will be the spark. I don't know which route they'll take, but they were showing her kind of obsessed with the puppies. And like I said, she even thought she had the idea to kill them in that. Even though she said she was joking with Jasper, I think she was thinking of doing it because she was going.
That's not what the movie conveyed, though. That's what you can keep saying that, but the movie did not convey that.
But
number one, if she has a master plan to have these puppies be born so she can murder the puppies, if you remember 101 Dalmatians, they only have like half a dozen puppies, and the rest are just puppies that were from another source. So she can't be planning that. And it's one of those things, like, if you were a viewer, the way this movie ended up, what in your head, I know you're not, one of the writers from Disney, but like, I kind of want to just get into your head, because I don't understand what you're expecting out of the sequel. For her to just decide willy-nilly, after flirting with the idea in a joke, wink, nod to the audience, that's more of an Easter egg than anything else of her.
That's exactly what I saw it
as. How is that character going to get from one point to the other without it being completely underhanded and on the nose and just desperate? I don't, like I said, the only thing that could knock after already. So we didn't talk about the plot of this movie. Is her. Surprise, Emma Thompson, the Baroness, is her mom, and it's, family drama again. Never
and she's
seen
always
that
wanted to be a
before.
fashion designer. She always wanted to be a fashion designer,
Right.
and then come to find out her mom's a fashion designer. It's in her blood. So,
but her whole conflict this movie is getting over the one thing that she had to deal with. So there would have to introduce a new problem that would turn her so 180 that she could even get to that point. Nothing in this movie besides the one line you're talking about indicated that she has any of those psychotic thoughts going on in her brain.
Well, I mean, okay, you asked me like as a writer. Well, what if in the next movie, not saying just kind of just ballpark. Okay. What if she's having some grand, fashion art venue show, and maybe the new dogs or puppies come in and maybe ruin something because but at that point she's gonna be so obsessed with fashion. Maybe they ruin her dress, maybe they ruin the show.
She already is obsessed with fashion, so it's kind of.
I found that she was less obsessed with fashion at the end of this movie.
I'm saying just even more because there's always room to get even more obsessed where you're just like, dang, you're just like, yeah. But anyways,
she doesn't love Krista. She doesn't love Dalmatians, but she already got over the fact that they killed her mom. So what else could she? It's like she's gotten over the fact and is bonding with this very same dogs that killed her mom. So what more could happen?
Like she bonded with the dogs that killed her fake mom more than she bonded with her actual mom.
Yeah. So. Anyway.
But again, like I said, she can't be that Cruella in this first movie. Like I can't see her instantly hating. I mean, she did have like, okay, you guys are saying it's an Easter egg, but I took it as
a wink to the audience. Yeah.
I was seeing that as she found out that the Baroness killed her mother, and she was like, what better way to get back at her and then kill her dogs and use them as a fashion statement at her show? So
she is not that character.
But because
because
I feel like the dogs are starting to warm up to her, especially like I said, that one scene where the Dalmatian kind of just laid on his back and was kind of like, can you scratch my belly kind of thing, and she kind of gave that smirk like, maybe I won't do it, because she was starting to get attached. But I don't know what's gonna happen. I know there's gonna be a second movie, and I feel like whatever route they take will make sense of her becoming.
That was my other grievance with this movie. Is like I keep saying it because it doesn't convey the story it's trying to tell you. Like they pitch it as a villain, but it's not a villain story, right? That's my problem with it, because it goes one point, it's like, okay, she acts a little crazy. Next moment, she doesn't act crazy. Next moment, she's like completely wholeheartedly like telling everything from her bottom of her heart. Like everything is so emotional, but no, it's not like evil emotional, not crazy emotional. It's just like, I'm a bad person, but I'm not supposed to. Am I a bad guy, or am I really just a bad guy? Like, it's not one of those Wreck-It Ralph situations where you're a bad guy in a video game, so that's your job. That's what she was raised. That's what she always thought she was supposed to be as. No, she's just a character that has a little bit of craziness in her because she thought her real mom got dead. She found out her real mom wasn't got dead, and then she put her other now real mom in jail. Like, if I seen Cruella as a person who I thought she was when I was younger, she would have killed her real mom because she's a D-bag. Like she would have done the same exact thing that her mom did to her fake mom, or something equally drastic, or something more malicious than like, oh, you're in the police now.
I'll agree with that, but because it's a Disney movie, obviously they're not going to go that route. But
they killed the fake mom with the Dalmatians
right at the beginning, kind of like
right off the rip. So that's what I thought. This movie, I'm like, okay,
usually
it's going to be
dark. Usually it's only Pixar that begins their movie off that.
Well, I mean, I feel like Disney will be teaching people they're like will be teaching revenge, and I think they wanted to go a different route, like, because if she got back and killed her mom, then it's just like, it's like Disney's kind of like saying, hey, someone kills you, or someone that you love, give, and that's not the story they want to convey to the audience. So
we're gonna get this whole podcast just talking about the nuances of her being a villain when we have a lot of other things to talk about.
Well, that's the main pitch of this movie. To me, that's the main pitch of the movie. I know,
but
because it is a villain movie.
20 minutes. No, I think all I'll say is, if you're talking about a second movie, the only indication that we have there, unless y'all know something I don't know, and they've confirmed or something.
They haven't confirmed the second one yet. I know they
the only live action Disney movie in the past so and so years that has a sequel is Maleficent. Mm-hmm. So if they're talking about sequels, this one is a little bit more likely than making a live action or CGI Lion King.
Oh, Jungle Book 2? Yeah. Jungle Book 2 probably. Jungle Book 2's been talked about a lot.
Right. Anyway,
that's another
I'm
one.
just saying,
so since you segued into the other live actions, let's go into this.
Will have a sequel, but it's a little bit more likely than not because of Maleficent. Already has a precedent.
Well, let me say one real quick thing. Okay, with any of if they did an Ursula movie, if they with a Cruella, with any of these villains, I believe they're not born villains. So I feel like they have to have a backstory to where it leads them to where they are going to. I get we're saying the pitch is not. They kind of made this movie seem like she was going to be a villain, but like I took it as I'm going to get the backstory of how she became Cruella. And like
this movie was 2.5 hours long. They couldn't make her the villain at the end.
I think it was like a little. I think it was like 2 hours or two.
No, 2.5 hours.
It was long.
It was 2.5 hours long.
It was very long.
There was enough time in that movie to make her be the villain at the end of the movie.
I don't see why they would be like Cruella becomes Cruella in 2 parts like this. I don't see that.
No,
I don't know, but I mean, I saw throughout the movie where she was a normal person, and her mom died, and things were happening just like, and it took so a lot of crazy events to make her go mad. And when I see things like
she went right back though. She went.
Mm-hmm. Well,
all it took was Jasper being like, "Well, girl, slow your roll," and she was like, "Yeah, you're right."
Yeah, it literally just took Horace and Jasper walking away from her, not helping her.
Which was good. It was well done.
It was well done. But if you took the name Cruella out of it and just put another like name on top of the movie and made it another character, that would have made better. That would have made more sense. Not Cruella. This is not Cruella DeVille. This is the Devil Wears Prada. Yeah. Basically Disney vibe.
The Devil Wears Prada.
Exactly. That's all this is.
I feel like we're all in the same boat as like we like the movie, but we're just
I'm
really bogged down by like what the intentions are of the possible future of this. That's not even.
And I didn't want that. That's the problem. And that's what this movie caused for me. Because I'm like, why are you going to give me a villain movie, but not give me the villain to further the story into a 101 Dalmatian movie?
I think this is it. Money is a thing, but I think if you look at the writer's story, they told a complete story. This doesn't need to continue. And if it did continue, it would not make sense to continue anything but 101 Dalmatians. We don't need a Cruella sequel to be like, oh, we forgot to make her bad in the first one, so let's do it in the second one, and then do 101 Dalmatians when they have a gigantic vault of content they could choose from.
Well, I mean, you guys brought up like she was going crazy and then she held back or stopped whatever because Horace and Jasper. But I mean, you got to think about she got close with these guys, and so if this is Cruella in the beginning, I feel like those people, what they think and what they say is going to
understandable. But if you want your character who is a villain to be a villain, you do not have ties with the characters that you would call imbeciles later on in life.
Because in that moment, I guess you can say she lost it. But then also in that moment, she was able to, if she wanted to go crazy, she can go crazy, and if she wanted to be calm citizen, not causing whatever drama problems, she can do that. But that craziness already sparked, and it's already in her. And there's one line in The Dark Knight I always like that
right there probably is the best thing that Katrina said all night about this movie.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine with it.
Yeah, I don't think
we don't need any more. I mean, they're great stories, but the movies are already the live action one with Jeff Daniels and Glenn Close.
Glenn Close is a phenomenal live action Cruella. Phenomenal.
Yeah. Different, very different than Emma Stone, but I don't know. It's just anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a couple things I wanted to mention about, like, because we had just started on the things that Lucas didn't like.
I know, and
we got through, and then we spent most of the podcast. Right. Well, we've already talked that. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Sorry. I know, but I feel
Well, don't apologize. I feel like that's what's good about talking about these movies.
Right.
Different opinions, different perspectives, different outlooks.
Yeah, it is. We keep going back and forth on the same thing, and I'm sorry. I'm a really bad habit of that. I just try and get my point across over and over again. I'm really bad at it. Sorry.
It makes good conversation.
How dare you guys?
We're all trying to make our points of like, okay, you're saying you feel like she should have been the villain, like kind of almost instantly. I'm saying this.
No, I didn't say instantly. Okay, now this me retreading. I didn't say instantly. I said I wanted to see her become a villain in the movie, and she did not become a villain.
Okay, but
that doesn't make you hate the movie, right?
No, it doesn't.
No, it's a good movie. It is a good character study.
Didn't I have this argument too about the Invincible, where I was like, he wasn't invincible. I wanted him, or at least show that he was invincible throughout the whole season 1. You were like, no, he needs to be that in the second season. And I'm
he's read the comics and he knows.
Yeah, so I'm just like,
it's not like.
But I feel like you. Well, I don't know, but I'm just saying.
No, Justin, that's a really good comparison. Because I've read the source material. Yeah. I know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Where it's the same thing as we watched the source material for 101 Dalmatians, and we know the source material. So what Cruella should be is not what she becomes. Anyways, good. I like that you threw that in there because it made sense. Thank you. Sorry.
I mean, it's very different. It's not like we're arguing. Like, all we're saying is this is. Is this a franchise? Is this not a franchise? But like we can probably, if they make a sequel, we'll talk about it then. But for now,
Chris has that.
Right.
Oh, there's a bunch of movies that I wondered about the character's backstory.
Because in 101 Dalmatians, all of Cruella's motivate in the cartoon, it would not the Glenn Close one, but in the cartoon, it was just like, hey, I'm a fashion designer. Those Dalmatians look pretty lit. Can I get some of those? And that
perfect example of a Disney villain that I wonder about a backstory of. Ursula. Someone threw that in the chat. I can't remember who it was. I would like to know, because she's got an octopus lower half, right? I want to know, was she cursed by somebody? Was she born? Right. Was she born an octopus bottom? Was she automatically a witch? Did she learn to have magic later on through life? What caused her to be evil? But I would still, in that movie, I would want to see her being evil. Same thing with Maleficent. Like, I was fine with the start of her being like a fairy and like being a protector and having like, this like bigger source of life and watching her lose her wings, etc. But they turned her into. So this is the comparison, because we're actually I put up the comparison to other Disney live action movie, right? So comparison to Maleficent, she went through the whole I have a tragic backstory arc and then spiked right back into I'm a hero or I'm a protector, right? She's not a villain anymore. Cruella spiked back into it, not a hero. Now she's like nicer. So comparison to that as a villain movie, it's the exact same, almost the exact same roadmap.
Chris, let her get there. Ask us women aren't
born. It's more like 90%, right?
Yeah, all of us. I was gonna, with a little quote that I was gonna say from The Dark Knight, when Joker was upside down and he was talking to Batman, he said, madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push. And he started laughing crazy. But anyways, so yeah, she got in this movie. I feel like that happened. She went. She's crazy, but
I think she went up to the edge and then jumped right back.
Yeah,
and I think that was very clear. I don't see how you could analyze that beyond that. I mean, I don't. I really don't.
Like, she looked down at the abyss and she was like, "Oh, this is not for me." like if this was not like PG-13, like this was an R-rated movie or whatever. If this was like a really dark story, instead of putting her mom in prison, she would have been like slice on the throat, or
like it would have been
dogs on her.
Right?
Exact same thing.
Something like that. But like, no, she's just like, no, that's why I like the movie, because it's a gray area movie that has a roller coaster ride of her development. Like, she changes from one thing to another, and it's beautiful how they did it, but it's just not like I said, I don't think that she goes over the edge. I think she starts to, and it's just, Horace and Jasper are like best bros, bring her right back.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Well, but just talking again, I'm gonna just admire Emma Stone's acting in here. But like you were saying, Justin, the whole her, if we're gonna talk about her being evil and not evil, evil and not evil, that was really Emma Stone played that off really well. I liked her acting in that.
Yeah, no, she did phenomenal.
When she needed to be a calm Estella, she was great. And then when she needed to be
but I don't think she
Cruella,
went like. I have known some women, and this is playing off of Katrina's 100% evil thing, but like that's just, to me, it was just like that's just a woman having a bad week, you know. If you want to look at the evil one, it's clearly it's clearly Emma Thompson's Baroness. Like that's legitimately evil, whereas Emma Stone never did anything remotely evil. She was just a thug. She was a pickpocket, a criminal. Absolutely a criminal, but she wasn't evil, not once. She was just a jerk for a week until her best friends were like, "Stop that."
The person that was the Baroness, like the character of the Baroness, was more Cruella DeVille than Cruella DeVille was.
Yeah, but okay, and maybe that's where again she was. Like I said, this is a movie where she's just starting off, and that's probably why she's going to become the Cruella, because she learned from her mother. I know. We're kind of going back, but it's just. Go back I'm just saying. So.
Well, we keep tying it back into that conversation because that's the main topic of this movie. Is she's a villain? So I mean, we're gonna keep talking about it because that's the main topic of this movie. Is she's a Disney villain?
I would love a Disney villain movie. There's nothing I would love more, Alex, than for me to eat my words and have the Disney writers come out, throw their ink on a paper, and make it this beautiful script of her ending up. Starting from where she ended in this and turning into the Cruella. I'll never understand why they needed to do it in 2 movies, but I would love that. But I don't understand like that. It doesn't.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'll give you guys that. They could have done it in probably 1 movie,
2.5.
But because the movie's so good, I actually don't mind for a second movie if they go that route. Like if there's a Cruella 2, I actually will be excited and ready to watch it at the movie.
Well, if they do that, do you think they'll do a follow-up with 101 Dalmatians? Do you think they'll turn into a gigantic trilogy? Because there was a sequel to 101 Dalmatians as well. So then that would make this a potential for at least 4 movies.
Here's the thing. Knowing how Disney's been doing with all these remakes, with all these movies, which like Aladdin and everything garbage. Anyways, I feel like they will do a remake.
All right, let's go back to. No. We're gonna go back to this because we can talk about the live action reimaginings of Disney movies real quick because there's quite a few right now. And the fact that you just said Aladdin was garbage. The fact you said Aladdin was garbage is kind of hurtful because that's one of the better ones of the live action movies they've done. I don't see how you can think that it's garbage.
Disagree. Knowing that Aladdin is my favorite movie, that one I just
Aladdin's in my top 5 favorite Disney movies of all time.
Yeah, and that's my number 1 movie.
Welcome to our review of Aladdin for podcast within a podcast review of Aladdin. Everybody, what's your opinion on Aladdin? I think it's pretty good. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. I liked it.
Like Lucas, here's the thing.
And that's what I think too.
If I'm Aladdin, the remake, the acting was great. They could have done a better job with Jafar. I didn't like the guy who was Jafar.
I can agree to that. I can agree to that.
That's a consensus we all share. Continue.
I was okay with Will Smith. I don't like his little story with him liking what was it, like the other servant girl or whatever. I mean, it was cute.
That was fire.
It was like it's not Aladdin. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like I said, the acting was the only thing good in that movie, but everything else was just
great.
You know, I just no.
Songs were great and amazing in acting. Power Ranger from the Power Rangers movie. We need her more stuff. Will Smith was a little strange, but ended up being perfect for the role. Yep. Music was great.
Also,
the production value of the music was the best I've ever seen in a Disney movie so far. Besides Beauty and the Beast.
The choreo,
I didn't like. And then they had like, wasn't there like one scene where like they were all like dancing, and I was just like, I don't know. It was
so good. They were so good at dancing.
It's a musical.
I know it's a musical, but it's not. It wasn't Aladdin. Okay,
it was Aladdin. I'm confused.
I'm
confused.
Here, I will give you this.
They're married. They were getting married. They were getting married. It was a wedding party. It just went away.
I mean, Will Smith cannot replace Robin Williams, but he did a excellent job close to that. So I will give that. But the remake itself, no.
It felt like Aladdin to me, with additions, which was my gripe. My gripe with the Lion King movie was it was shot for shot. Like, I didn't like that. I wanted more of a addition to the story. Like, give me a little bit more about Scar and Mufasa's relationship. Like, if you're going to have more of a runtime of a movie, right? Whereas Aladdin gave us more. They gave us more. They gave us the genie, like after and before. They gave us a reason.
I mean, like I said, it was to amuse
not as good as
audience. But why did they have to have him like have a love story when it's supposed to be like I don't know, like Genie, like I don't know.
Because Robin Williams, because the Genie was the narrator in the original Aladdin movie. He was the narrator of the story, whereas he was just like this little shopkeep. Exactly. So instead, they gave someone who has some live action acting chops a role, and it worked out really well for the movie.
By the way, hello Anna, how are you doing? We are talking about Cruella, but now we're talking about the remakes.
Yeah, Cruella's pretty good. Anyway, Aladdin.
But I'm seeing in the comments, people are saying there's people who are agreeing with me that Aladdin was not good. Besides, of course, Carla, and I think Christina probably liked the movie too. I don't know.
Yeah, Jafar was a problem. Didn't ruin the movie.
Chris said Aladdin was okay. I agree about Jafar. He was too young and hated the women power song. Thank you. So, anyways, that's my thoughts about Aladdin. So,
and this has been a podcast within a podcast, Aladdin.
And then let's segue right into Beauty and the Beast then, because Justin brought up Beauty and the Beast. I think it's in the top 3 best live action reimaginings for Disney. And I think Cruella,
my favorite.
Yeah, your favorite. So when I'm saying like we're talking about the reimaginings of these movies and how we think about like what they are together, if I wanted to rank them, look, Cruella would be in the middle of these movies, and where Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Jungle Book, they would be in the top for me. Those would be the top ones for me.
Yeah,
where Cruella's like smack dab in the middle.
Right, and if we're gonna rank it like real quick, I do think it's hard to say because I am coming off the hype train of Cruella. Cruella is much more unique. It's original. If you compare it off of something that's redoing something, whereas Cruella is not, it's pretending to be a prequel, but it's not. It's just a new story that's being told. I think Cruella is better than most of the live action stuff we've gotten. But I do think Beauty and the Beast is number one. That is, I think it's really hard to beat Beauty and the Beast. I think that is my favorite Disney movie besides like some of the fringe stuff like Tron Legacy.
Yeah.
And like for me, Krista, we have a divided house about Aladdin. I would say Cruella. I would say Beauty and the Beast 1, and I would say Cruella right after that 2. That's how I would rank those movies.
Okay, Hermione, what?
I think 1 second. I think there's technical difficulties with my phone right now, guys. 1 second.
Like that.
Yeah,
she did fine. But I think the comparison, because Beauty is or Belle, I should say. Why did I call her Beauty? She just was like, I want to read books. And so if you look at that and compare it to Hermione, yeah, very similar. But that's probably why they picked her. And I think she's perfect for Belle. The guy who played Beast, I love that actor. He is a great dancer. Y'all got to watch Legion. He's got some great dance scenes in that. And it's a really screwed up X-Men show. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. So like I'm trying to think of all the Disney retellings right now. We got Cinderella, we got Jungle Book, we got Beauty and the Beast, we got Aladdin. Cinderella and Helena Bonham Carter's fairy godmother.
Is there mice that talk?
I think so. No, they don't talk.
Have y'all seen Into the Woods?
Yes, love it. But that's not a reimagining.
I know.
No.
So we have those. We have Maleficent 1 and 2. We have what else? We have.
Did you say Lion King?
I did say. I did say. We talked about it.
That's another bad one. But anyways,
it was not that it was bad. It's just unfortunately the realistic choices.
No, you're right. Mulan was bad. Correction.
Mulan.
I haven't watched that, and I'm not.
Mulan. That was horrible. That's bad. That is the bottom of the bottom. Okay, the Mulan. Yeah, that's a garbage movie.
I forgot about that because I haven't watched it all.
I like Gaston. Josh Gad being Josh Gad. I mean,
no,
every
Josh
element.
Gad was LeFou.
Luke Evans. That's what I meant. Luke Evans. He's great. He's great. He's great in Fast and Furious.
Katrina, want to know which Cinderella, the new one or the one with Brandy in him?
I know nothing about this Cinderella.
Enchanted is not a reimagining of a movie. It's just a live action Disney movie.
Same category as Into the Woods, I guess. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Enchanted's really good.
You don't want to watch it, Carla. Do not watch Mulan.
We're going to. I'm going to break down. Justin, we should do a watching a Cinderella together if you haven't seen it. It's not terrible. It was when they were first trying to do their live action. Dumbo.
I haven't seen Dumbo either.
I watched part of that one. It's not terrible so far.
Michael Beetlejuice Keaton. I mean,
someone just said Enchanted sucked. Excuse me. Giselle is a darling. You shut your mouth.
All right, and that concludes the podcast within a podcast within a podcast of Disney remake reviews. Back to Cruella. There was a really good
Cruella.
Yeah,
and let's go into Emma Stone's performance. So let's just cut all the crap that we've been talking about Cruella.
I already started with that. I loved, and I will repeat it again. Loved her performance again. You guys, I mean, you're saying you don't think it's Oscar worthiness? I believe so.
No, I think it's Oscar worthiness. I just don't think the Oscars are gonna.
Yeah, they're not gonna
her because they have poor taste a lot of the time.
Yeah, they do. But I'm just hoping because Emma Stone's performance, like I said, from when she was Estella, from when she was Cruella, when she was going back and forth. The whole everything, just her, just amazing. I'm speechless, just amazing. It was really, really good. Hey, the Disney Baker, how you doing, Chris?
They could not have gotten a better. Hey, Disney Baker, they could not have gotten a better actress for this role. It's like it almost makes me sad. As much as we probably like. I'm drawing a blank on Harley Quinn actress's name. What's her name? Harley Quinn?
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie. I feel like there is a universe where they've switched. And I think, I'm not to hate on Margot Robbie because she's great in a lot of things, but I feel like Lucas is very on point when he's talking about this feels like a Harley Quinn movie. It almost makes you wonder what Emma Stone could have done with
as Harley Quinn. Yeah,
that's Harley Quinn.
Yeah, because like she does the role like Alex is saying, she's phenomenal. She's Oscar worthy. She does the roller coaster. You believe it when she has her turns.
Yeah,
but then again, her turns aren't they're gradual. They're not instant. Except for when she kind of comes back to her.
Yeah, I literally hit the nail on the head when I said like this feels more like a Harley Quinn movie than it is anything, because it definitely this version of Cruella seems more of like Harley Quinn is than actual Cruella.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to think. Like,
anyways, Emma Stone's performance. We're going back into the route of is she a villain?
No,
I'm not going to do it.
No. I was thinking of her level of craziness. Did it remind me of Harley Quinn, and not so much. But I mean, at the end of the day, crazy is crazy. So
it's a similar style, a crazy woman who is an anti-hero villain ? And that's kind of where we're at here. And it does have, you are thinking about Suicide Squad and Harley Quinn because of the music choices, the style, and how everything looks. So that's what we're getting at.
Yeah,
this is like Harley Quinn if it was in the 70s would be somewhat like this to an extent.
Exactly.
Hey, Giselle, how you doing? Glad
it was more in line with Harley Quinn from the animated Batman series. Can we say that? Because I think so.
How you be, man?
She was crazy, and it didn't give me so much Harley Quinn vibes, but just focusing.
She could call Jasper Mr. J. Hey,
but if you're talking about her giving you those vibes, if we needed a replacement for Harley Quinn in like any of the movies in the future, Emma Stone right there.
That's what I'm saying. It'd be great to see. And if y'all haven't seen La La Land, what are you doing watching this podcast? Go watch La La Land. If you want to see Emma Stone at the top of her game, and you've already seen Cruella and you're hungry for more, go watch that. She is phenomenal in that movie. I think she did win.
Can I say what movie I don't like her in? Amazing
Spider-Man. She's fine. She's fine as Spider-Man.
No, that's not why.
She's not the Gwen Stacy that you read, but for the story they told, she did a great job acting.
I know. But
that's not you hating Emma Stone. That's you hating that adaptation of a character that's important to you. So pump the brakes on the Emma Stone hate there. You know you're wrong with that.
I didn't like that movie.
But
is that my...
But her performance,
it was really good.
I definitely see her. It was a good performance, but I'm definitely not on par with both of you guys when saying like it's an Oscar-worthy performance. I don't see anything Oscar in her performance. Like nothing that like the Academy would address.
But how do you not see it? Like I said, from like when it comes to like amazing acting, like for her. It's already difficult for an actor, like the script that she had, or like if you're playing any crazy person, Harley Quinn, Joker, Cruella, any of these guys, and she had to play, she had to convince us that she was normal, and convince us that she was crazy, and convince us to go back and forth, and to kind of, and just the different scenes, like you just like her facial expressions. That's another thing when it comes to acting, like her facial expressions and the different, whether she was Estella or she was Cruella, like it was just really good.
Yep, and you have to have someone of high enough caliber to put them on screen next to Emma Thompson, who is playing a villain, which always gets looked at over the hero because they're always much more interesting. It's much more compelling normally to watch a villain. People do a villainous role, but Emma Stone, as there were shades of that in this performance, she was not only able to convey that, but also demand all that screen presence, despite sharing the screen with Emma Thompson, a legendary British actress who is the villain and playing a knockout villain role.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the other thing. She had to play two different characters, Estella and Cruella, and she convinced me of being both. And that's another thing that's hard for
I didn't see a difference between Estella and Cruella, so I don't see the difference between the two characters.
You don't see a difference?
Not really. No.
Okay, well, there's nothing I can say to argue that point. That's just a matter of taste and understanding.
Preference.
So, preference, taste, preference, same thing. So unless Alex has something to say, believe what you want, see what you want, whatever.
I didn't have a problem with the performance. I don't want that being skewed. Like, I really enjoyed the performance, but I just don't agree with Oscar-worthy performance.
Oscar-worthy. And
what about Emma Thompson?
As a supporting actress, yes. I could possibly see her as supporting actress, yes.
I feel like she's more likely to win because she's Emma Thompson and people...
I mean, that helps. That definitely helps, but like, as a performance for a supporting character in a movie, I could see her getting an Oscar nod for it.
I think they're both equal, but I do think Emma Thompson, not to hate on her, because I think it was just the script she had. There were times when I felt she seemed a little cartoonish, like it just didn't make sense for her to behave. Like narcissists don't usually wear their narcissism on their sleeve as much as she did, which is cool, but at the same time, it's hard to convey that when you're like, yeah, I don't care about people. Go get me a coffee. And it's like most people wouldn't just go get her coffee. Like there would be some kind of like Horace and Casper kind of thing going on.
I'll agree with that, yeah.
So, but other than that, I mean, both great women. This is a women power movie, man.
Yeah, and them going back and forth. I mean, you have good acting. I mean, good acting. No, not good. Amazing acting from both, and how they're just going back and forth. Especially when it was Cruella versus her, like it was great. It made it entertaining, and there was no dull moment in this movie thanks to their acting.
Other than the beginning, when they weren't, neither one of them were.
Really. Yeah. But other than that, everything from I know we're talking about Emma Stone, but also just the supporting cast, everyone else was just on par with their acting. But just Emma Stone's performance, I think.
Yeah.
It was good. We'll have our opinions. Like, I know you're not saying it's not good, but I believe she should win something in the Oscar. But like you're saying, Justin, me and you, I think because we've seen a lot of we've watched the shows and we see who gets the awards. It's going to be kind of hard for her
It'll be Emma Thompson, if anything.
Yeah.
she's been around the block. People love her, and
but then again, I might be wrong because there's not a lot of movies that have came out this year, unless you're gonna start pulling from like the streaming categories and use those more as like your big ticketed Oscar level movies. Like a lot of Netflix originals, Amazon Prime originals.
A lot of the Lucas, a lot of the Oscar worthy movies, the ones that are considered come out right before the cutoff date, so that they're fresh in all the judges' minds. All the Martin Scorsese movies will come out like.
No, yeah, there's right Oscar season. There's Oscar season, yeah. Right? So but there's not a lot of movies slated this year.
I know,
because of the repercussions from COVID. So this might make it on the bill for a couple like nods. I might be wrong. Maybe Emma
we don't usually see Disney movies on the Oscar.
So. No, you see them for what I'm going to segue into is costume design and makeup. You see them on there. You see them on animated movies. Definitely.
Well, Pixar wins almost every time.
They do, but they're also owned by Disney.
I know, but
they also get nominated for sound design too, as well. 9 times out of 10.
I think Lion King won some things, but again, more of an animation thing. It's just I don't recall a lot of like performances being won.
I don't think a live action Disney movie's been nodded at all.
No, but I think
did Beauty and the Beast get nodded for something?
I guarantee you it wasn't for performance.
No.
It was for something though,
for anything.
Or they won something.
I mean, and here's the thing though, like even though it's a Disney movie and a Disney live action movie has not won, an actor hasn't won something like that, I think she has a good shot. We'll see when it comes, when the time comes. But
we'll see.
Look at Heath Ledger. A lot of people were just like, no, a villain, a superhero movie, no one really wins something like that.
Oh no, we knew, or at least I did. Like I knew he was.
Well, we were all talking.
He was like, that was
listen. Even I know what Justin's about to say. Even not being a superhero fanboy or a comic book fanboy, I knew watching The Dark Knight that Heath Ledger was going to win something for that performance because it wasn't comic book related. It was so grounded in realism. It wasn't funny. It was what the Academy looks for.
But it was coming from a comic book movie. So from what I was seeing and learning, that it's like because it was coming from that, they were kind of like the possibility. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, he won, and they were saying it wasn't going to happen.
And everyone always says he won because he died. No, he won because that performance was flawless.
It's just unfortunate
that he disappeared into the role, which I think Emma Stone here. Oh, we're talking about costume. I do think Emma Stone kind of disappears into the role, but she still feels like Emma Stone.
Yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day.
And that's a good comparison to see for because we're still on the Heath Ledger. You couldn't tell was Heath Ledger anymore. Because the characters Heath Ledger played before Joker was all kind of the same character, the charismatic, like good looking, like very quippy, like bad boy-esque character. If you took Heath Ledger and took his name off the bill for Dark Knight Rises, for Dark Knight, I wouldn't have known that was Heath Ledger. Right off the rip, I wouldn't have known that was Heath Ledger until the makeup kind of came away during like the during like the second act of the movie and the third act of the movie where the makeup was running more and you could see more of Heath's features. But I wouldn't have known that at the beginning at all. I can still look at Cruella and say like this is Emma Stone because of the way she's acting or the way she sounds. So
I think she did the British accent very well.
She did,
and Lucas,
but she still sounded like Emma Stone though. So.
I think she did that. I don't know the accent.
She did good. I feel like I'm not saying she didn't do good. I feel like she did good. I just don't feel like she's Academy level of performance.
I know you're not saying that. I'm just like, so get anyone that's listening. Obviously, we're all agreeing that her performance was amazing.
Yeah.
There's just different levels between Lucas and myself and but I think Justin and I are on the same. On the same level of where she could.
Katrina brought something, I guess. Ryan Cruella in the same category. Who would win?
What category?
What category? Best movie, best picture. Raya would win.
Yeah, Raya would win best picture.
Ryan would win Best Picture because you can't put him in the same category.
I think if I had to watch
Best Costume Design, Cruella would win. Best Sound Design, Raya would win.
Yeah.
Like,
I think when it comes to like which one I'd rather watch again, Cruella just looks so darn good on my TV that I would watch, because I started Raya again because it's now available for everybody on Disney Plus, and it's just they don't use the TV to the fullest, the OLED 4K to the fullest, whereas Cruella is like some of the most stunning imagery I've ever seen on screen.
See, and watching it at the movie theaters, like Cruella looked really good. I mean, it wasn't an OLED 4K television, but Cruella,
Dolby Vision enabled. No,
yeah, getting all technical.
Flex muscles on right now.
Yeah.
I have a movie theater in my house, y'all.
Yep. Don't worry. So, I'll get an 8K OLED. I'm just kidding.
I mean, if you want to pay $8,000,
I think they're like $10,000. But anyway,
I don't think Cruella would be an 8K.
No,
it's crazy. But so this topic, though, the costume design and hair and makeup is something I do think they could win for, though. So
thank you so much.
That's the one I actually think this movie can get an Oscar nom and a win for. It was really good, really impressive. I was really stunned every time.
If they don't, then they need to be run out of town. They need to give this movie all the awards for wardrobe, for costume design, for hair and makeup, except for the little girl with the black and white hair playing Baby Cruella, which they just wipe that out of my memory. But anyway, we kind of already talked about
which dress stood out for both of you guys. I want to hear that first.
It's been too long for me to really think of specifics. So
really,
yeah,
I'm trying to think.
The one where she turns it on fire.
And so her first dress as Cruella,
her transformation dress.
Yeah,
that's the one that I remember because it's like art, like where you look at it the first time and you're like ooh but then you stop looking at it and it just erases. You got to go stare at it again. Nothing really. There was so much that nothing particularly stood out.
Mine was.
Or go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, so mine was the table conversation with Jasper into the conversation with Anita. So that gothic looking, like her hair was bobbed down, like that whole look. I remember it perfectly.
Okay.
Mine was, if I remember correctly, was with it was that long dress, and I think she rode the dumpster truck.
That was really creative. Really
was a
creative.
Good one.
It wasn't as stunning to me, but it was like just so like one of the like set pieces of this movie, one of the money shots of this movie where you're.
But wasn't that also teased in the trailer though? Like the
I didn't watch the trailer.
The newspaper dress. Yeah, no,
that was cool too. That was cool.
Alex, we reacted to the trailer, didn't we?
Yeah, we reacted, but I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah, in the trailer, the newspaper dress was shown in the trailer. I think all her looks were shown in the trailer, but they held on that one for a little longer. So
and if I
remember it.
There was one where she was like, I don't know if she was wearing like a general's like top or
that one too. I remember.
Yeah, that one was.
Is that the one where she has the face makeup on where it says no future?
I can't remember if she had that.
Is that one?
On the face? Yeah, there was one. I don't know if it was that one.
Yeah, wasn't it the one where they caused like the scene in the middle of the street with the rock band basically, and Jasper like going to town on the guitar and everything?
No, that was when she was wearing the Dalmatian outfit, and then
she was
like, did she kill my puppies? Yeah, she was like, did she kill my puppies? Yeah, that was that scene.
Yeah. Okay.
But
see how many things there are that we could talk about for hair, makeup, and costumes. It's so good, and it just the fact that we're talking about our fashion dresses, right? But we can also talk about like the set era design too, like all the like just the era of where they were at, like all the like the wardrobe fit perfectly.
I needed a refresher.
Like think of the like the snobby store owner, like the schnozberries taste like schnozberries guy. Like he looked like he would he would look like he would belong in the 70s, like the way he looked and acted.
Did that movie come out in the 70s?
What movie?
Willy Wonka?
Did it? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
60s or 70s. Yeah, I mean,
let me bring this up so that you guys can get an
I'm looking at some of the costumes. Is hard. There's just so many. Like it's one of those things where it's like you're getting a snack and then you're getting a better snack and a better snack and a better snack. You're like, by the time you get to the last one, it's like, God, how much of that? How lucky I am to have tried all of those great snacks. You know, anyway, I can't really remember the costumes very well.
Hey, Yadi, how you doing?
You look great.
Glad you're here. Yep, I'm back, but no face right now. Still recovering.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, you need to go see this movie, Yadi. Definitely gotta go see this movie.
Fantastic costume design for this movie, guys. Like that's the one thing that stood up to me the most for this whole movie is like the colors were like when they wanted to punch you in the face with a vibrant color, they hit you in the face with a vibrant color. Like Charles Justin said, the fire, like the red dress, the fire reveal, like it was a black and white party, right? So everyone's supposed to be wearing black and white, and all of a sudden,
that was
boom, red right in the middle of it. And it like I like that because everyone associates Cruella de Vil with black and white. So they're like, okay, so she's gonna come up with something fantastic, black and white. No, boom, red. Let me just show you how much color I can bring.
And speaking of like the imagery, the costumes, just keeping in line with imagery, we didn't really talk like this movie had some really outstanding cinematography and DP work because like there's like a Sam Mendes style shot that me and Lucas were just blown away by where it's an aerial camera showing a cityscape of London that flies over the streets through the glass roof of a building all in one continuous shot.
Oh, the one
zooms,
shot. That's
zooms
right.
through the crowd all the way, and it's just one unbroken continuous shot all the way to janitor's closet. But it just really shows you scale. Like if this movie didn't have a budget, you know, they could have just transitioned to that closet, but instead they show you all of the location and where it just feels real and seamless.
Exactly.
And it was beautiful. What? I'm being Mike Wazowski'd right now. I don't like this.
Oh, I can't take that off. That's on Justin or Lucas's side.
I'm on TV.
I can't take that part off. There you go. Don't worry.
That shot, you know what's crazy is that shot reminded me of
so good.
Of Halloween, the new Halloween movie, where this is the one take with Michael Myers. He grabs a knife, he goes and does his thing, walks outside, turns his head, goes into the building, and then the last thing you see is like, and the shot is like him killing the woman in the window. But you, from the point of you seeing Michael on the road to like where he gets inside the house, was at one shot, and it was a beautiful take of a one shot.
Well, it reminded me of Sam Mendes because he does that in every movie, including Skyfall from James Bond and 1917, where the entire movie is one shot. I
still need to see both those movies.
Do you?
I do.
Are you interested in those?
There's a high possibility.
Okay, I'll get 1917. I already have Skyfall, so whenever you want to come over and do that up.
Yeah, you gave me the other two James Bond movies.
You have Skyfall as well. So.
There we go. I just need to. I would rather see them all. You know,
you haven't seen all
of course.
I love those movies.
The Daniel Craig.
I've never seen.
Yeah,
I've never seen.
I love them.
So we got No Time to Die coming out, baby.
Hot take.
That should have came out a long time ago. That was supposed to come out last year, a long time ago.
Yeah.
Hey, but that fire Billie Eilish song with Hans Zimmer came out, and y'all should listen to that. Real good.
So fun story since you're talking about things like that. I've never seen a James Bond movie, and Justin also hates me for this, but I've never seen an Indiana Jones movie.
Much. Well, I mean, it's just like I think if for people who've never seen an Indiana Jones movie but still consider themselves like modern, culturally involved, you've probably seen every scene from Indiana Jones in a different movie because they like literally Raya, the Last Dragon does like 2 or 3 different Indiana Jones things in that movie. Like, all I'm saying is, if you want to know where so many of the action adventure movie tropes came from, they all came from that first trilogy of Indiana Jones. And it's kind of like, it's like a history thing where you should watch them, but they're by no means the greatest things ever made. And Lucas hates Harrison Ford for whatever freaking reason.
I don't really like him. Yeah,
Harrison Ford is actually wow. Okay, he's good.
Well, Harrison Ford, I like his acting, except he has to. Oh, I can't.
That means nothing, ma'am. Do you know how many old movies I really enjoy
Indiana
and
Jones
really love?
Is, 80s. Anyway, Harrison Ford does this.
Back to the Future is one of my favorite series. Get out of here.
Harrison Ford's great acting, but he just points. That's all he does in every movie. He points, and he's great. Unsubscribe, Lucas. No, Lucas. Do you admit that you should watch the Indiana Jones movies?
Yeah, I should. I just haven't.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Now you don't.
I'm going to
Harrison
at some
Ford.
point in my life,
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna just ignore the movies.
No,
I just haven't watched it.
Well,
There's
when I
other
get them in 4K, Alex and Lucas, y'all should come over. We should all, like steal some.
Well, we have a
museum piece.
Put it this way. There's a new Indiana Jones
movies
coming out. There's a new Indiana Jones movie coming out, right? Number 5.
I know. I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
It's got Mads Mikkelsen as the bad guy. I love him.
There's a new one coming out, and there's a new one coming out.
God.
And I actually have been telling myself that I'm going to watch all the movies.
It's not Lucas and Spielberg, guys. They're staying hands off.
Real quick to kind of focus on, like, I'll just say this real quick before I close this tab. Focusing on fashion, everything. Look at this is Etsy. Someone made a handmade dress from the movie, selling it for $811. Supposedly, it looks just like from the movie. But anyways,
at least it's not Wish.com. You get it to be a literal.
Have a bunch of sexual innuendos hanging off of it.
Yeah.
If you order a Cruella dress from Wish.com, you're just going to get a bunch of dead Dalmatians.
Yeah, you were literally about to have real Dalmatians like on your dress.
Yeah.
Black marketed.
All
right, guys. So I
bought this dress. Anyways, someone bought the dress. Anyways, I was just seeing if someone bought the dress.
So we're just gonna get around to wrapping this up because unfortunately half the podcast was just me and all of us belittling about like villain, not villain. But all right, guys, what's our rating?
Jasper, one more thing. Jasper, despite them being very different characters, the actor had the same kind of hunch. He had the same kind of movement that the animated character has. He's not Hugh Laurie from House, which was in the live action one, but he is very unique or not unique. He's very, very much feels like Jasper. And I think that's all I had to say, other than I hated the idea that I felt like it was lazy writing. The only lazy writing this movie had, besides the hair, her being born with the hair, was the fact that, the Baroness is your mom. And it just felt so, it's just another retread of a retread of a retread, where we've already seen this family drama. But that being said, they did it very well. So, did you want to get into scores? Because I'm ready to go.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Alex, let's hit yours first.
Okay, Alex, yeah.
Alex, you do yours first, since you've been kind of vacant from...
Hasn't really complained about much of it.
Yeah.
I
feel like I hear a 9 coming out of Alex's mouth. Drum roll, please.
It's not coming out of his mouth. It's coming out of the...
yeah.
over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the bat loop is giving this. Anyways, I'm trying. So, like I said, I love the acting. I love the fashion. I love the time period. I love the music. I love everything that had to do with the film. I love the dark tone in the film. I love that she was crazy. I love the acting from everybody. I love the story. I didn't have a problem with the black hair, how it started. I probably want to give this one pretty close to a 10. So I'm trying to think, why would I not give it a perfect 10 out of 10?
Well, we didn't really get into all of the problems.
I'm trying to think if I disliked anything in the movie, and I didn't. I think I would have, if they would have had
Krista. You didn't see that coming.
You know what? I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I'm trying to think if there's anything for me for a movie to get less than that. I have to dislike something, and I didn't. There wasn't nothing in the movie that I disliked. Usually, I always look at whether the story or the acting or the imagery or the shots the director took, the angles, just everything was just really good. So, yeah, there's nothing I did not like from it. So I would give it a 10 out of 10 bats.
7 out of 10.
10 out of 10 Dalmatians.
10 out of 10 spots.
Spots.
No, 7 out of 10 for me.
Is it 10 out of 10 for you?
7. Number 7.
Yeah.
7. Lucky number 7. No, so 7 out of 10. I would have leaned more towards an 8 if I had gotten that more villainous side shown to me, which wasn't showed. Another thing that knocked it down was the plot was kind of bland to me. Like, it was very bland. Nothing really stood out to me in the plot. So there was that. Things that built up. The fashion and wardrobe, definitely one of the things that definitely elevated this movie. Emma Stone's performance elevated the movie, even though it wasn't the performance I wanted out of her. Elevated the movie. Jasper and Horace were probably the best characters in the whole movie for me. The Baroness, really good villain, but I actually agree with Justin. Very comical for just the sake of being comical, but not like haha funny comical. More like you're being a villain. You're being overly villainous. Villainous.
Emma Thompson's performance.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, very black and white.
Another thing is they just shoved Roger and Anita at us. I didn't talk about that either. They kind of just shoved us Roger and Anita when we didn't need Roger and Anita. Exactly.
John and Jane Doe doesn't really matter and has no business being in this movie anyway.
Exactly. We didn't need those characters. So the Easter eggs that I liked were good, but the Easter eggs that I didn't like were bad. So there's that. Music choices too.
They were laughable. Like what the heck?
The music choices were really good, but sometimes they were too on the nose of music choices. There was one. Okay, the one that they chose for when she had the whiskey bottle in her hand and then was walking away. It was very apparent. Yeah, exactly. Like it was very on the nose. And as much as there's some things I like that are on the nose, musical choices don't always have to be that way. You could have like other beats of music that pertain to the story or what you're trying to tell, but not be on the nose and tell me like, yeah, she's in a really rough place right now and she needs to, keep on walking, right. Like it's definitely something, but the good of the movie was really good.
It felt a little like caffeinated for the music choices, or it's like, all right, we don't have music for like 20 minutes or excuse me, like 20 seconds. What do we do? Well, what's she doing right now? She's walking. All right.
Exactly.
What's an old song about walking? About
nonstop hype.
Are made for walking.
Yeah, exactly. It was a nonstop hype fest. You said it perfectly. It's a music video. It was it was a 2 hour and 30-minute music video. That's what it was.
Right.
And the things about music videos that are great is not the acting in the movie. It's the colors, it's the visuals, and the music. And this movie had it. It had it. So 7 out of 10. But if they leaned more towards the evilness of what Cruella DeVille was, then it would have got a higher ranking for me. That would have elevated it to an 8. So,
thank you, Krista. That's all I can say. I agree.
I'm not addressing this further. Anyway, we keep a couple things before I get to that. So we keep running into this thing where because we're only reviewing movies that we have, except for this one for me, but for the most part, we're reviewing movies that we are set up to like already. We keep getting into this format where we're ranking things anywhere between. Nothing has been ranked lower than 5, and to add a little bit more nuance to everything, instead of just like A, B, C, D, F, which traditionally would go up to 60. I kind of want to, stretch it out a little bit to kind of because obviously the only thing the lowest thing on here that I've ranked personally was Godzilla versus Kong. But for the most part, this movie though getting into it, I think Lucas kind of has it because this is a top tier film. If you're just looking at style, if you're looking at production value, if you're looking at everything we've already discussed, I would say, what Lucas is basically alluding to is this movie is not better than the sum of its parts, because while some of them, costume design, music choices, I disagree. I think the music, despite it being on the nose, I think that fits the tone of the movie. The movie is just a roller coaster ride of fun, and that detracts from the story of the movie. Now, the character growth, the character developments, the turns, fantastic. Some of the reasoning why that happens, for instance, thrown in that the Baroness is her mom, then it's almost like you have to start a whole nother movie again at that point to, establish that story, that Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker trope once again, but instead of ending up with, anyway, it doesn't end up in the same place, but it is another family drama. It's always family. It's always, oh, you thought family. That was your dad? Yeah, Vin Diesel over here. Fast and Furious, look for the review.
I am family.
I don't think he says that, but he might as well. But going into that, it's like, I love the music. The cinematography is great. The color palette of this movie is great. The acting, great. So many great parts, but just that plot. The skeleton
is over glaring.
The meat of the plot is fantastic. The skeleton, like I said, right from the beginning, it's like, why does she have different hair? Why is she being bullied for her hair, which is, doesn't feel like Cruella? The fact that they marketed this movie to be something that it is not, I don't know, man. It's just so all over the place. It's so hard. I really want to give this movie, a higher grade, but I have to go with Lucas. It's a 7, but that doesn't mean it's a C to me. Like, if we're going, like, it's not a C rated movie. It's a B. Really good movie.
It's a B tier movie for me. If we're going A, B, C, D, F, G, it's a B movie.
It's a B, and it's one of those things. Like, I don't want a sequel. I just want them to leave it at this. I don't like the idea of there being, let's have part 2 where she really becomes bad. We faked it out in the first one, and then we're going to do it for real.
The only thing I would have wanted as a sequel for this movie would have been 101 Dalmatians. But I would want 101 Dalmatians catered to like how they did it for live action with Glenn Close. And the movie that we got does not set that movie up.
Not even close.
No.
It was all, anything related to that was all winks and nods. I think this movie stands on its own, but for like some of the stupid choices I think they made, despite everything else being 10 out of 10, like I said, it's a 7. But still,
and
just freaking go watch this movie.
And that's the thing that I agree with you 100% on. So you can have a great movie.
It's also way too long.
Exactly, that too. Like, the plot of a movie is what makes a movie. That's what you're watching the movie for, is the plot. And unfortunately,
it does nothing that hasn't already been done.
Exactly.
Everything, already been done in some way, shape, or form, except this time it's Emma Stone and Emma Thompson doing it. They're doing it very well, but it doesn't bring anything new to the table.
By the way, gentlemen, I looked up the movie runtime. It's 2 hours and 14 minutes, and I think in those 14 minutes, probably 4 to 5 minutes is credits. So
it's still really long. Like,
it's like an average 2 hour movie.
This didn't need to be an average 2 hour movie. It
could have been like an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah, like there was.
That's what it could have been.
Now I'm glad it wasn't, because as it stands, it is what it is. All the parts are great, but like, you didn't need some of the scenes. You just didn't need some of them.
Ooh. Well, Krista, you're gonna have to come back for our
Army of the Dead was longer, but than it needed to be. But Bad is very.
So let's save this for another one, because I think we're still gonna touch the Army of the Dead, because it's still in the top 10 on Netflix. So I think
and it was something that we were supposed to talk about next. So
Very similar. I would grade that very similar to this, and not being better than some of it.
The zombie Harry Potter movie.
But that's for another video. That's for another podcast. Let's not go into another one of our possible topics here.
Zombie Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, we'll get to that. She'll talk about that
anyway,
and why she felt like. But anyways, yeah, maybe that could be the next one. Knowing it's still recent, let's make that one the next one. You guys agree? Let's get it out of the way
because if we do one, yeah,
depends on scheduling.
It's a scheduling thing right now because next Sunday is Father's Day, which means I am out, and then I know me and Justin have Loki episode 2 planned on Thursday. So.
Well, you want to do Friday then?
Well, we could just do 2 on Thursday and make Loki real short because we're planning on making those pretty short anyway.
It just depends on scheduling right now. So we'll discuss that later. But I just throwing it out there. But
Krista's at, no.
No,
because I like watching this. I expected it to set that up. But in the end, I was impressed that it didn't, and I liked what we got. So having that, I didn't care about this movie at all going into it. I thought this was a mistake. I thought this was a dumb idea for them to do. I was very surprised. So I didn't have any expectations for it at all. So that didn't change anything. Lucas stated over and over again it did, though.
Wait, I stated what? I'm sorry. I just lost everything you said.
You would like the movie better if it set her up as a villain instead of her have a redemption arc.
Yeah. See, that going back to it, it makes you think the movie at the end makes you think it's setting up for 101 Dalmatians, and it didn't do that.
I don't think it makes you think. I think the marketing made you think that, but like towards the end, where you're like, "Oh, Cruella just gave them Dalmatians." Yeah, that's not going to happen. But then you get people like really thinking, that they're coming with the 101 Dalmatians.
No, Krista, even if 101 Dalmatians did not exist, I would still give this movie a 7 out of 10. Because Justin said it perfectly. The plot is too bland. It's unoriginal. It's a run of the mill. Yeah. I could find it at a Dollar Tree plan. like that's what it is. There's nothing stupendous. There's nothing that stood out about the plan. The things that happened around the plot were brilliant, but the plot itself, no.
The skeleton of the plot, the meat. So like the dialogue, great conversations, great like one scene to the next, great pacing. Well, like I said, the beginning of the movie is pretty bad, and it's like almost, if the music wasn't so good and my attention span wasn't so good, I would have just left the theater if I was in a theater.
Target's better, and a Target plot is like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. That's a Target plot.
Target is Caronsville. Anyway, I don't think it would change the story because, like, again, is 101 Dalmatians, despite like let's say we talk about Glenn Close being awesome, is 100% Dalmatian or 101 Dalmatians the hypest Disney movie that anybody is like that's nobody's favorite. Like you look at anybody that's not their favorite Disney movie.
What, the 101 Dalmatian animation movie?
No, any of it.
The animation one is in my top 5.
Well, right, but it's not your number one movie. It's not the hypest movie. It's not the movie where like we really need a live action interpretation.
101 Dalmatian doesn't even make my top 10.
True.
Yeah, but it's
maybe top 20, but definitely not even top 10. Not even top 15.
Depends on our metric. So if it's animated versus live action, blah, 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 blah. All I'm saying is 101 Dalmatians is not the movie you're going to get hyped about and for having a live action. Because we've already gotten, number one, a live action movie. That was really good. And the cartoon is just a great, solid cartoon movie. It's not like,
Katrina, you have a lounge fly for everything and under the sun. That doesn't count.
You have a lounge fly for lounge flies?
I want a lounge fly backpack where they have a fly on a lounge chair, just lounging. That's what I want.
Make it the fly from Bug's Life.
Dollar Tree is awesome.
You don't even have to make it a fly, just a run-of-the-mill fly.
I agree, Christina. Loungefly, you guys, can Could you imagine if, like, just real quick for these ladies that are in here, if they did a good job with the Cruella gear for like a lounge fly, I think you guys would have had an extra whatever, how many you already have. You guys already have like what, 1,000? That would have been 1,001.
Yeah,
and 2.
That would have elevated your ranking of the movie even more, I feel like. Merchandising.
But I agree, the merchandise is kind of weak. It's pretty whack. I've seen it. It's pretty whack. So
Hot Topic's got good merchandise for Cruella.
I haven't seen the Hot Topic, but
Hot Topic's good.
Figures.
Pop figures, their fashion
know what
stuff.
They're doing.
I'm not showing myself, but I did get it. I'll put it on Instagram. I did get a pop of Cruella. I got it.
They can see your video if they watched your video that you just put up with your unboxing. It's in there.
Back. Yeah, she's in the background, huh? When I put Batman back there, you're right.
Yep. I pay attention.
Thank you. Oh, my heart. This is why we're friends. Just kidding.
Anyways, guys.
You have friends?
Anyways.
I have great friends. I'm talking to
Yeah, we're all friends right here. We're all friends here with these reviews, Krista.
Just show us real quick, guys. Alex.
We're going to wrap this up. So,
my camera is set
ratings and everything. Yeah, we're going to wrap this up, though. Ratings and everything aside, good movie. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Did we address whether we thought she was a villain or not?
Not yet, you guys. We addressed it. Not yet. Number 2, she will. That's where she goes crazy.
Well, I'm not going to get into this because I can go another 2 hours. So,
thanks for watching.
Now. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you haven't hit the like and subscribe button, go ahead and hit it. And if you haven't hit the notification button either, to always know when content's coming out from us, do it as well. All righty.
Alex,
yeah. I'm just thinking about the movie. But anyways, with that being said, thank you guys for being here. Hit that like button if you haven't before you exit out. We appreciate each and every one of you guys. We love you guys. Very entertaining discussion. We loved seeing your comments, reading your comments. You guys are the best. It's good to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Soon you will see my pretty little face, but right now I will give you my voice because that's all that matters. We
need a Puerto Rican face.
Right. But it was fun, you gentlemen. I missed you guys, miss seeing your faces, miss talking to you guys, miss all the jokes, miss all the, long strenuous arguments of the same point back to back to back. But you guys are like family. I love you guys. Love each and every one of you. Have a good night. And with that being said, always be yourself. Unless you could be Batman. Then always be Batman. See ya.
Disney Grizzly.